Imagine being in Walmart or Target or Asda in the UK and hearing these words over the shop speakers at Christmas time. O mighty ones of today, proud of your greatness, it is to your pride that God preaches. Bow your heads before the Redeemer. Today's song intro is long, but stick with me. Hopefully you'll find it worth it. Today's carol is listed at number 1 of many favorite carol lists. It's near the top of mine as well, in part because it's a great example of how God can use the most random and unexpected things to reach people with the gospel. Many times when I hear or sing this carol, I barely make it through without tears. It doesn't matter if it's December 24th, July 11th, or September 19th. The words and melody are both direct gifts from God as far as I'm concerned. Yet when you translate the original French to English, they become even more powerful. People kneel down. It is to your pride that God preaches. People stand up, sing of your deliverance. It's like a big tent revival hidden in the most tender, gorgeous song. Here are some things you may not know about O Holy Night. First of all, the authors were not Christians. The original text of O Holy Night was written in 1847 by a French poet named Placide Cappeau. After being approached by the local priest, Cappeau was commissioned to write a poem in celebration of the church's new organ. The priest's request may have come as a surprise for Cappeau, who was not considered a godly man, but he obliged. Pondering the Gospel of Luke, Cappeau wrote Minuit Chrétien, Midnight Christians, as he imagined what it would have been like to witness Christ's birth. Cappeau then approached his good friend and composer, a Jewish man named Adolphe Charles Adams, to put the words to music. 3 weeks later, Cantique de Noël, O Holy Night, premiered at a midnight mass and became a firm favorite amongst French congregations. When church leaders discovered that Cappeau had formally renounced the church to join a socialist movement and that the song's composer was Jewish, they banned it. Despite being banned in churches, Cantique de Noël continued to gain popularity in homes around France. Second, the original French lyrics are much more powerful, and the song was a favorite of abolitionists during the American Civil War. In 1855, American writer John Sullivan Dwight discovered the song and was inspired by the powerful lyrics about Christ's victory over the oppression of sin and the brotherhood of men under God. John Sullivan Dwight was an American Unitarian minister, influential music critic, and part-time Santa impersonator. In 1855, Dwight decided to translate it to English, and the resulting translation is what we now know as O Holy Night. Due to his religious philosophies, Dwight decided to take a few liberties with Cappeau's lyrics, and O Holy Night was given a much more toned-down gospel focus. Here's a direct French to English translation. Midnight Christians, it is the solemn hour when God-man descended to us to erase the stain of original sin and to end the wrath of his Father. The entire world thrills with hope on this night that gives it a Savior. People kneel down, wait for your deliverance. Christmas, Christmas, here is the Redeemer. Christmas, Christmas, here is the Redeemer. May the ardent light of our faith guide us all to the cradle of the infant, as in ancient times a brilliant star guided the oriental kings there. The King of Kings was born in a humble manger. O mighty ones of today, proud of your greatness, it is to your pride that God preaches. Bow your heads before the Redeemer. Bow your heads before the Redeemer. The Redeemer has overcome every obstacle. The earth is free and heaven is open. He sees a brother where there was only a slave. Love unites those that iron had chained. Who will tell him of our gratitude? For all of us he is born, he suffers and dies. People, stand up, sing of your deliverance. Christmas, Christmas, sing of the Redeemer. Christmas, Christmas, sing of the Redeemer. In the final verse, Dwight adjusted the lyrics to, truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. O Holy Night was published in his magazine, Dwight's Journal of Music, and quickly gained popularity with American audiences, especially in the North during the Civil War. So O Holy Night is a melody written by a Jewish man based on a poem by a French atheist, a song rejected by the church, translated by an American transcendentalist. Third, it was the first song ever broadcast live on radio. Canadian inventor Reginald Fessenden was an early pioneer of radio broadcasting and claimed to have made the first ever transmission of voice and music. Fessenden says that on December 21st, 1906, he broadcast a recording of Handel's Largo, followed by his own voice reading the Gospel of Luke, and then a live rendition of O Holy Night on the violin. There's some dispute over whether this, in fact, was the first transmission of voice and song, with some suggesting Fessenden fabricated the story to place himself at a key moment in history. Others claim the broadcast was a Christmas miracle. With all that background, there are a myriad of recordings to choose from. This year, I ran across this recording from Tommy Prophet's The Birth of a King album, and it has grabbed my heart. As you listen, you'll notice it builds to the point of almost too much before resolving beautifully and tenderly. For me, it's the musical equivalent of the shepherds being confronted by the solitary announcing angel, then being overwhelmed by the multitude of angels declaring God's praise, being overwhelmed by the glory of the Lord, then finally resolving to the quiet, empty night, and once again, the tenderness of finding the infant in the manger, just as they had been told. O Holy Night.
O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its work. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel Ooh.